I'm back and I'm here to talk about Inktober. I know it's November 29th as of today, but I have to talk about my experience with Inktober this year. I am not an artist. I enjoy art. I enjoy watching other people create art, and this time I decided to participate in making art. So in the month of October, I moved to a new city, I started a new job, and I started to feel I needed an outlet. I was looking for a way to be creative, but for it to have a deadline and for it to be something that I could do on a daily basis. And then I remembered that Inktober was coming up. So for the month of October, you do one ink drawing a day. I'm not sure about if there are rules or if I was breaking them by not being an established artist or not declaring that in some way. I'm just someone who likes to draw sometimes. And this was a very interesting prompt for me because I drew a lot from things in my head, so I guess it's a subjective drawing, and I also drew a couple from references that I found online. But what I noticed is that throughout this entire challenge that it brought up a lot of personal memories for myself, and it was a way of very nostalgic for me, remembering certain things, and that made it more enjoyable and I was able to keep going. I think it was a personal motivation to have more of those experiences as I was going through. So some pros are it is very energizing to do something that I hadn't done before, and for it to be something that I was challenged with every day. So for this Inktober, I participated in Furry Little Peach's prompt list, Peachtober 20. So much fun. I got so much encouragement from other artists online. I actually posted each one of my drawings to my NoOvernightGuests Instagram account, which was very interesting because I saw everybody else's beautiful watercolor or gouache designs or like these incredible pencil and marker drawings, and then my little stick figure-esque drawings. But there are some funny stories behind some of these drawings, as I wrote in my captions. For example, there was a prompt cool, and the first thing that popped into my head was one of those like vintage, or what's considered vintage now, fans, the metal ones that had those like hard acrylic buttons on the front of it. And that's what I drew from memory, is one of those big old, I'm very sure are probably outlawed by now, very dangerous fans. I remember, I don't know if you ever did this as a kid, if you were ever bored enough to start talking into a fan that was running so you could hear your voice do that weird robotic thing. And it brought up all these different memories, and I found it so enjoyable that I just kept going. Now, after the first couple of weeks, I started slipping. I did. I was feeling kind of burned out from commuting. I was commuting at the time. It's like over an hour each way, and I hadn't found an apartment yet, and I was really stressed out. So any excuse that I could take to not do these drawings, I started to do. So that was something that I wasn't expecting, because it's such a little thing to make a commitment to draw one drawing a day. I didn't sketch out my drawings. I didn't have pencil sketches or anything. I just had an ink pen nib and some water soluble ink in my junk box for some reason, and it still works. So I decided to use that, and it was actually really fun. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with ink now, because sometimes it cooperates and creates these really fine, beautiful lines, and sometimes it's just like these huge blobs all over my drawings, and I just had to go with it. But this is one of my favorite ones. This one was Shadow, and I drew a little, like, a ghosty shadow on the floor underneath this wall, like somebody's standing right there. I thought that was cute. So the prompts were definitely general enough that you could draw pretty much anything. For example, for the prompt burn, I drew, this is called a cigarette lighter. This used to be in every vehicle on the road in the 90s and early 2000s. They don't include them anymore when they make cars now. And for good reason, because when I was a kid, I pushed in the cigarette lighter, you wait like a minute, it will pop out, and when you picked it up, the top of it was like neon red, like a neon orangey red. And what did I do? I touched it with the tip of my finger and burned the tip of my finger so badly. It hurt for weeks. Even just hot air or steam would just, and I still remember that to this day. So when I saw the prompt burn, I knew exactly what I was going to draw. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend this, even if it's just as a like therapeutic exercise. Like I said, it brought up a lot of like memories for me, a lot of really like positive childhood memories, like things that I had totally forgotten about. Like this one, this was the stripes prompt, and I drew myself wearing one of those big old puffer coats that made you look like a marshmallow. Not the cute ones that they have now, but like the real ones that were like stuffed with cotton or feathers or whatever, that were like hard. This was so much fun. I would definitely do another challenge like this again. And I recommend it for people who are not artists, people who don't consider themselves artists. I think it's just a creative way of exercising a different part of your brain. And you never know what might happen. Like with me, it brought up like these little short stories that I was able to share with people. And I got to connect with people over this challenge. And I want to shout out Furry Little Peach and Lee Alexson. I think they did an amazing job doing the prompt list. And the pictures are fantastic. I mean, so colorful and beautiful, and I got these. I'm very proud of these, don't get me wrong, but I also admire like the work that went into their drawings as well. So yeah, highly recommend it. Ton of fun. And even if it's not Inktober, I recommend doing a creative challenge like this. Like, being a solopreneur and working on my online shop all this time, I get very much into writing administrative mode, where I'm writing copy for my website. And that takes up the bulk of my time, is, you know, writing out measurements or writing out descriptions. And I love to write, so it's not really work for me, but it does help to kind of take a break and try something different. So I recommend it. It was a lot of fun. So if there are any art challenges you guys think that I would enjoy based off of these drawings, don't hesitate to recommend it, and I'll see you guys next time.